Hey, folks, we got a great call lined up today. As you know, my dear friend from what? Beach Money, and Better Than Beach Money is our guest speaker. And I am excited he's joining us today. Matter of fact, you notice this right here on my neck? It's a Beach Money, yeah, with little sand in it. Yeah, for Mr. Jordan Adler. Yeah, Beach Money. All right, with a young man I've had the pleasure of spending time with, mentoring, helping. And I tell you what, phenomenal friend. We have a cigar occasionally. Looking forward to talking to him after. It's about having one. He has a home here in Vegas on the Strip. He's got one up Mount Charleston here in the hills to go skiing area. He has another one in Arizona. You know, 3 homes to live between. Just sold a beach house for. Anyway, I tell you what, I want to thank him for taking time out of his schedule to be with all of you to help you. And with that said, I'm going to introduce you to my dear friend, none other than the one and only, the great Mr. Jordan Adler.
What's up, Al? How's it going? Hi, everybody. Thanks for the
invite. How you doing?
Part of your training this morning. You do this every day, huh?
Yes, sir. Every day, 7 days a week, actually.
That is incredible. I wanted to, Al's showing you a copy of a book of my original Beach Money book. Hold that up again, Al. By the way, notice
it stays on my desk.
Yeah, the Beach Money necklace we're wearing here. Yeah, there you go.
I got my necklace on.
So that picture on the front of that thing, that looks like me. What happened is we ran out of time to do the photo shoot, and my graphic artist found that picture. And that's actually a tall, hold back a little bit, Al. That's actually a tall black man. I don't know if you know this, Al. They lightened him up a little bit to make him look like me. I think it looks like me, but that's not actually me on the cover. But these books right here, this right here, these are the books. If you're gonna buy Beach Money, get these books because they got additional chapters in them. It's the same book, but I've rewritten it. This is the most current. Al's got the original. He's got the vintage version. So there's 2 books. There's Beach Money, and then there's Better Than Beach Money. They're different books. So anyway, I want you to get the greatest.
I have an autographed copy.
That's right. That's right. Anyway, yeah. So Al, you want me to just tell a little bit about my story, and then we'll kind of do some Q&A, maybe?
I got you set up for that. So yes, sir. So tell your story, and I got things I'm going to go over with you.
Okay, perfect. So I picked up a book at a garage sale. I was looking for it because I actually had the original book. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere around my place here, but I picked up a book at a garage sale for $0.25 back when I was in my 20s. And that 25-cent book had more value to me than my college education. I've got a degree from the University of Illinois in landscape architecture, which has been like really useful, right? So I did that for a few years, 3 years. I enjoyed it, but it was very sedentary, and I really need to be more around people. And so I was dabbling when I read that book. The book taught me leverage. It taught me residual income. I'd never heard of that before in school. Of course, my parents never taught me about residual and leverage. And so when I read the book, it got me excited about the possibility, I'm gonna put this in here, the possibility of getting paid over and over again for working one time. And when I graduated from college, I had a guitar, a suitcase, and $250. And I moved from the Chicagoland area to Phoenix, Arizona, bought a little $200 motorcycle, ran out of my $50 really fast. Was sleeping on the floor of an ex-girlfriend here when I was in Arizona, and applying for different opportunities that were coming up, that were popping up in the newspaper. We didn't have Craigslist back then, and there was no, there was no social media. So I was just getting involved in different things. And over the next 10 years, I signed up in 11 different companies in 10 years, never signed up a single distributor, never made a penny, but I learned a lot of lessons along the way. I could go on and on. I was in Sunset Travel Clubs and Network 2000 and Amway twice and Nishika 3D cameras. I still have my Nishika 3D camera. And when you're back then, if you didn't have a credit card, they would send you an application for a credit card with a $250 balance. So I ordered my first credit card and I maxed that out really fast because my job was paying me at that time $12,800 a year. I was in my 20s, but then over the next 10 years, the most my job ever paid me was $28,000 a year. And so I started ordering credit cards. When you paid your bill on time, they would send you more credit card applications. And I actually, over the course of the next 10 years, these are the actual credit cards. I actually had 22 credit cards, and these were the cards. And what would happen is, as long as you paid your bill on time, didn't matter how much money you were making, they'd send you a credit card. And there was no annual fee on these cards. And I maxed them out getting involved in network marketing companies, products, trainings, audios, books. And I maxed out these cards, $36,000 in credit card debt on 22 credit cards. And I had an accountant that I talked to, and he said I needed to file bankruptcy because my income at my peak was $28,000 at the airline, working for the airlines. And then I left the field of landscape architecture, got involved in the airline industry, and then the airline filed bankruptcy and cut my pay in half. So at the age of 34 years old, I was living in a rental in Old Town Tempe. My rent was $200 a month. I had a broken down Jeep out in the street. That Jeep had been stuck in the street for 2 years. My job paid me $14,000 a year when the airline cut my pay in half. And my life was a mess. And that was around the time that I met Al Thomas. Al, we met actually after I joined. In fact, I got to tell you guys a crazy story. So I was at a bowling alley. First thing that happened is my cousin contacted me. I don't know if you remember this story, but my cousin Eddie, he contacted me and said he had an opportunity, and he showed it to me, and I wasn't interested at all. And it was the company that Al was involved in. But at that time, I wasn't interested. Well, a year later, I was at a bowling alley, and there was some guy walking around with brochures. And I looked at it, and for whatever reason, it grabbed my attention. And I realized it was the same company that my cousin Eddie had been involved in. So I called him, and his number had been disconnected. And I called him again, and I called him again. And there was no social media. I had no way of reaching him. So for the next 3 months, I tried to get a hold of my cousin. And this, by the way, this is after being in 11 companies in 10 years and never making a penny and never signing up a single person. And then my cousin never got back with me. And so I called the company, and they put me in touch with a guy named Cliff Messenger. You remember Cliff, Al? Yeah. So Cliff Messenger, his wife answers the phone when I call, and her name's Claudine, and they're in their 80s. Or maybe late 70s at the time. And she answers the phone, hello. And I go, hello, is Cliff there? She goes, yeah. I go, are you guys involved in that Excel opportunity? And she says, yeah. And I said, how's it going? She goes, not very good. That's how she said it, not very good. And so she puts Cliff on, and we arranged to meet. He shows up in a white polyester leisure suit, white polyester shoes, and he's got gray white hair. And I sign up with him. And over the next 13 years, I built an organization with the help of some really great people, including Al, training me and being my mentor. I built a group of 85,000 distributors and 250,000 customers under this guy, Cliff, who was referred to me by the company. And Cliff got a big residual check as a result of that. Eddie calls me back about a year later. My cousin calls me back a year later. Hey, how's it going, Jordan? I go, great. You still involved in that Excel thing? He goes, no, I quit a long time ago. And I go, Eddie, I hope you're sitting down because I got a story to share with you. And so Eddie he would have made a couple $1 million if he had just said yes that day. If he had just said yes, if he had just been there to answer the phone, right? If he had just stayed in the business, but he wasn't when I was ready to start. And when I look at my business today, most of the people I'm signing up are people that I showed the business to a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, that weren't interested at the time. And then they contact me, and because I don't change my phone number and I'm not moving I've got an address that stays the same, and my phone number stays the same, and my email address stays the same. When people are ready to contact me, they can easily reach me, and then they're ready to sign up, and I get them signed up. So I've signed up, in my last company, I signed up 129 people in 144 months. 144 months is 13 years. I'd still be with that company today if they were still around, but they left me. I was there for 13 years. I signed up 129 people in 144 months, which is less than one a month. And from that, five of the 129, they built organizations that totaled 85,000 distributors and 250,000 customers. That's after being in 11 companies in 10 years and never signing up a single person. I was only signing up about one person a month, a little less than that. When that company went away, I joined a new company 4 months later. And in that company, instead of signing up one a month, I decided I'm going to sign up one a week. So I started showing the business multiple times a day and, reaching out to people. And again, this was before social media. In fact, half the population had dial-up internet. There was no smartphones. My office was a payphone. I was excited that I could go from city to city to city on payphones and build my business. But it didn't matter what the weather was like. You had to find a payphone where you could stand and not get, drenched or frozen making your phone calls. I'd sit on a payphone for 2 hours sometimes, putting quarters in, or 35 cents or whatever it was back then. And in my company I'm with now, I've been here for 17 years, and I've signed up 600 people personally, which comes out to about 3 a month. I average about 3 a month. And most of the people I sign up are by referral now, meaning they come to me. And the reason is because I've got thousands of people that I've stayed in touch with over the years. I meet people, I'm making friends, always making friends, always adding people to my contacts, always doing my very best to stay in touch with them and look for ways that I can be of service to them. But I've got thousands of people that I stay in touch with today on a daily basis. When people pop into my head, I write their name down and I make sure and send them a text message or give them a call just to check in. Somebody that I haven't thought of or heard of in a year or 2 years, their name pops into my head, I write them down, I shoot them a text or give them a call. And there's a reason when people pop into your mind, there's a reason that happens. It means that you need to reach out to them. So in my current company, I've signed up about 600 people in 17 years, which comes out, if you figure that out, I think it's about 3 a month. And I'm showing the business probably even today, 17 years later, I show the business once or twice a day. I probably send out 2 videos a day, online videos, obviously, right? I'm shooting out 2 videos a day. I use my product every single day throughout the course of the day. And I am inviting people to presentations and giving probably 2 to 3 a day. And I can still do all that and my follow-ups on less than 4 hours a day. So my work, my actual productive work probably consists of 4 hours a day. And I've built that habit. You want to be in the habit of doing that every day, because this is the last thing I'll say, Al, and then I'll turn it over to you because I know we got a lot to talk about. The environment we live in today will take a toll on you. It's a tough environment. The internet has allowed anybody with a few $100 to start a network marketing company, and everybody's got a startup. And the news that we have, we're getting bombarded by the news, not just on the TV, but on our phones all day long, YouTube and Facebook, no matter, you can't avoid it. And there's just so much negativity out there. And then also we've got our own personal issues to deal with, like breakups and, we're getting married, we're getting divorced, we're losing our job, we're getting a job, we got bill collectors after us, whatever it is for you. Somebody in our family passes away. There's always something. And if you don't have a habit that is grounded in your commitment, if you don't have a habit that's grounded in your commitment that you practice every single day, you won't make it in the business, because there's just too many things tugging on your heart in different directions. You got to have a commitment, and you've got to build a habit, a daily habit. And you got to work your business even when you don't feel like it. You got to work your business even when you don't feel like it. And that only comes out of commitment, because if you're making your decisions based on how you're feeling, you'll never make it. No business owner, I don't care if it's network marketing or any traditional business owner, if you're deciding to work only when you feel like it, you're never going to make it. You have to have it. You have to have a habit of building every day, doing something every day that's going to advance your business. And I did say that was the last thing I was going to say, but I was saying one more thing. A mentor of ours, the #1 earner in our last company, Paul Orbison, God rest his soul, Paul told me one time something that really served me. And I was on a Zoom day before yesterday with a woman, and she was asking me all these details about the compensation plan, our compensation plan. And I don't know the details. Like, I really don't. I can't explain. There's parts about our compensation plan that I cannot explain. And I said to her, this mentor that we had that went on to make $1 million a month plus in my last company, he said to me, Jordan, if you only focus on one thing, focus on making sure that your report grows every month. Are there new customers? Are there new distributors? Every month. He said back then we were getting our reports first in envelopes and then eventually in boxes, paper reports. You know, the dream was to get a ream of paper, right? 500 pages of your report. That was the dream, to have that. And Al's report came in multiple boxes. Yeah. My report came in one box. And I remember thinking to myself, when my report was one page in an envelope, my only focus needs to be, did I add new customers and add new distributors to it every month? He said, let the comp plan do what it's supposed to do. And you just focus on that. The second thing he said to me that was a huge lesson was, the big money is in the small money. You want to get the big money into the hands of your downline. You want to take the small money. In other words, you want to have a lot of people that you make a little bit of money. That's how you get rich. A lot of people that you make a little bit of money. So if you help a lot of people make a little money, you'll make a lot of money. And then if you help, and then always focus on the big monies and the small money. You want to scoop up the pennies and the dimes and the nickels. I posted a meme the other day that said, if I had a nickel for every time, ... wait, I do. If I had a nickel for every time, ... wait, I do. That's where the big money is. So, and the way that happens is through duplication. And the way duplication happens is through simplicity and communication of your message on a daily basis, over and 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 over again. All right, so I overtalked. Go ahead, Al.
No, you didn't overtalk, but you know, I've always have the same saying. I tell people, and as I sit across from them, you're not going to be mad at me if you get 90 cents and I get a dime. See, that's right. It's so important that them get the bigger bigger chunk of the money than we do, because we get up over massive amount. You know, I also want to thank you for talking about commitment. And a lot of times people don't get into commitment. They always want to ask you, what's your day MO? No, get into commitment and make a daily habit of what you do. Every day, keep it a habit. I want to start off today by talking about the $36,000 in credit card debt on 22 cards. It's so powerful. Now, I'm going to go into beach money, and I'm going to go into beach money on page, yeah, I see that. I'm glad you used that to say that. I'm going to go to page 8 in beach money, and I'm going to read this, what you said, and I quote, after one full year, I spent about $5,000. I had no income coming in from my new business. In fact, I'm going to drop down a paragraph. In fact, over 10 years, I probably spent over $30,000 on my education. The thing I love about this, and I had it highlighted, most people don't spend any extra money coming in the network marketing field or industry. And if they're going to make $1 trillion and not invest back in their business. See, that's one thing that I want people to understand. So can you comment on that? Why it's important to invest back into your business?
Yeah, I mean, your limitations are all rooted in your mind, you know, and the reason some people do well and some people struggle is because of limitations that they've placed on themselves, or others that have others have placed those limitations on them and they've just adopted them as their own. They own those limitations. And that's what keeps you from growing. And so personal development helps you grow. I mean, why do we, if we want to be we want to learn a trade, why do we go to school to learn that trade? Because there's things that we don't know that we need to know to be successful in that trade. Or we're either going to be dangerous to ourselves, dangerous to others, or we're not going to be able to accomplish what we're trying to accomplish. It's the same thing in network marketing. There's things that you need to learn, and you learn that through your personal development. And the most important part of it is constantly working on letting go. And you do this through personal development, constantly working on letting go of the limitations of your past. So I was in Florida at an event, and I decided I wanted to get a workout the next morning. And there was a storm that was coming in. I had my hotel room was right on the beach. And I remember waking up like 5:30 a.m. and I heard the thunder and lightning outside, and I looked out, opened the curtains, and there was dark black clouds over the ocean, and it was really windy. But I mean, it's warm, it's Florida, right? So it wasn't raining yet. But it was really windy, and there was lightning and thunder out at sea. And I put on my workout clothes and I walked out onto the sand, and I started walking towards the gym. The gym was a freestanding building on the beach. And I remember walking into the wind, like I had to lean forward to take steps into the wind because it was blowing so hard. And when I got to the gym, it wasn't quite open yet. And I sat down on these wooden steps, and I remember the paint was peeling because of the thick, humid air. I remember the paint was peeling off the steps, these wooden steps. I was sitting on these steps waiting for the gym to open, looking out and watching this storm brewing out at sea that was moving in. And I saw a post, like a wooden post kind of off in the distance, and it looked like there was a pelican sitting on that post. And the pelican, at one point, after watching him, he spreads his wings. He probably had a 5-foot wingspan, spreads his wings, and the wind just picks him up off the post, and he's hovering back and forth. And I noticed there's a tether attached to his ankle attached to the post. And this pelican just hovering back and forth like this in the wind. And then all of a sudden he goes to fly off. And as soon as he hits the end of the tether, about a 4 or 5 foot tether, bam, he hits the end of the tether and falls down into the sand. And he kind of shakes himself off and stands up. I can see like the silhouette of him against the sky, right? And then he just spreads his wings and just hops back up onto the post, and he's sitting up on the post. And he sits there for a minute or two, and then all of a sudden, again, he spreads his big wingspan, and the wind lifts him up off the post, and he's hovering back and forth, and then he goes to fly, bam, he hits the end of the tether and falls down into the sand and gets up, shakes himself off, and jumps back up onto the post. I watched him do this 3 times. And I thought to myself, that pelican doesn't need a pelican coach to learn how to fly. It knows how to fly. It's been given the gift of flight, but because it's tethered to the post, it's never going to be able to fly free. And the truth is, the pelican was real, the post was real, but there was no tether. That tether was in my imagination. And that's the same tether that keeps us bound to our past, that keeps us from growing. Until that tether is released, that pelican will not be able to fly. It has to be released. So, and so whenever I find myself stuck, it happens to all of us, me too. In fact, I just went through a few years of really being stuck where I was plateaued, and I was like trying to figure it out. And I keep asking myself, what do I need to let go to be able to fly again? What do I need to let go of to be able to fly again? And so that's really where the big opportunity is for you. And personal development and education is the best way to be able to see things that you can't see now, because there's other people that can see what you can't see, and they will turn you on to that. And then you can let go of it. Once you see it's there, you can let go of it. That pelican didn't even know there was a tether.
That's why people need coaches. And so many times people get in and they're so frightened to spend money on their education in this industry, invest in books or tapes or whatever it may be. They're scared to invest in learning this profession. And that's why a lot of people are tethered to not making any big money. Now,
I'm going to say something real quick so I don't forget.
Sure.
Can I ask you guys to follow me on Instagram? There's no recruiting going on there or anything like that. It's just, I'm trying to get up my Instagram game. And my Instagram is Beach Money Jordan. If you don't mind doing that, that would really mean a lot to me. Go ahead. Al?
On page 9, the second sentence says this: because you vested back in your business, and some people are scared to invest extra $300 or buy whatever to increase their income. And I like what you said on page 9. The second sentence says, I cannot let go, and underline the word let go. I cannot let go of the dream of having a large passive residual income that will give me the freedom to travel, have fun, and play all over the world.
Yeah.
And I love that. because you invested back in your business. Now you can afford to do that.
And we have done that. So just to give you a sense, my life was really limited it was really, really limited when I got involved in network marketing. You know, for many years, like, you know, our whole life revolves around just this little radius, right? And I knew that there was this big, beautiful, exciting, fun, vibrant world out there, but I couldn't get to it because I didn't have access. And the reason I didn't have access is because I didn't have money. Money gives you access to things and experiences that you can't have without the money. It's really difficult. You can have some of them, but it's real difficult. So for example, when you go to an event with a few thousand people or 1,000 people, the experience is better when you're up front. And usually it costs more to be up front. When you go to a concert or a sporting event, if you want ringside seats at a fight, at an MMA fight, it costs a lot more. And it's a better experience when you're up front. And I learned that through this business. I knew it intuitively, but once you've done it, if you haven't done it, once you go on the private jet, you realize that it's better, and money buys you access. And so money is a good thing. And also, I have a hard time with people that knock people that make a lot of money, because most of those people that make a lot of money give away more money in a month than most people give away in their lifetime.
So true.
You know, I've heard people knocking Richard Branson. Well, how many people could you feed for that trip to space? Well, Richard Branson gives away hundreds of millions of dollars a month to charity. How much have you given away in your lifetime? He earned that money, built a business, and he's taking on an exciting project that is something that he chose with his money to take on, and you should cheer for him. Remember, what you appreciate appreciates. What you appreciate appreciates. Share one more thing, that totally going off on all these different tangents, but I had a girlfriend years ago that we're still friends today. She lives in Asheville, North Carolina. And one day we were walking in Chicago. We lived in Chicago together for a while. We were walking in Chicago and there were people asking for money. And some people she would give money to and some people she wouldn't. And I would give money to some people and I wouldn't give money to others. And I asked her how she decides. How do you decide who to give money to? She goes, well, what you feed grows. So if the person inspires me, I give them money. If they don't inspire me, I don't give them money. What you feed grows. And so what I started doing is thinking about when somebody contacts me and wants money, because it happens all the time. When people think you're making money, you're getting contacted constantly for people that want money. Some people want you to give them money. Some people want you to loan them money, and they get mad if you don't. But what I've decided, and I like this a lot, is what you appreciate appreciates. What you feed grows. So I'm going to feed things that inspire me. And if I feel like by giving somebody money or loaning them money, that's going to help them in a way that inspires me, then I'm going to do it. That's how I decided to do it. And it's healthy, because you can't give all your money. You can't give it all away.
So true. So true. And I know that you talked about Richard Branson, and I know that you're excited about all these guys going up in space. Talk about that for about a minute and a half before I get the next question about going to space.
Yeah. So when I was a kid, I used to lay in the grass in the south suburbs of Chicago and look up at the stars. And in Chicago, you really can't see too many stars. You might see 3 or 4 or 5 on a good night. But I remember laying on the grass thinking about what it would be like to go to space. And I never really even thought about becoming an astronaut or anything like that. I didn't see myself. I had very low self-confidence, and I didn't see myself as very smart, even when I was very young, like 5, 6, 7 years old. I didn't see myself as somebody that could be an engineer, or definitely not a pilot. Never, ever thought about that. And only pilots go to space. Only engineers go to space to become an astronaut. And for every, 500,000 people that want to become astronauts, only one does. It's like that. So when I was in my 40s, on a whim, I was writing in a journal, and I was writing down some goals, and I wrote number 8 on one of my goals, space traveler. I was 47 years old. I wrote space traveler, and thought to myself, this will never happen. at 47. Back then, they weren't talking about civilian space travel back then. And then years later, I find out that there's a program. It's a long story. I won't tell the whole story. I told it on a previous one of these, but I meet a woman that is involved as a travel agent selling tickets on Virgin Galactic. And she tells me that they're going to be building spaceships that are going to take civilians to space. And I'm like, and she says, you can be an astronaut. I didn't tell her about my goal. I went back and I started rummaging through old boxes of journals. And I found the journal from 10 years ago where I'd written down space travel. Anyway, on my 57th birthday, I wired the money to Virgin Galactic to become an astronaut on the Virgin Galactic program. And so you might have seen about 3 weeks ago, maybe about a month ago, Richard Branson actually was the first civilian to go to space on his program. His program and Jeff Bezos' program are very, very different, very, very different, but they're both, their goal is to accomplish the same thing. Richard is putting together the precursor to daily scheduled civilian space travel. So like, for example, orbital. So for example, you want to go to Australia and you need to be there in 2 hours, not 23 hours. Maybe there's some emergency, maybe there's some reason. He wants to, just like he's got his airlines, he wants to have scheduled daily orbital space travel. So you could actually get shot up into space, into orbit. The Earth's turning at 17,000 miles per hour. So literally within 30 minutes, you're over Australia, and then you re-enter and glide down to Australia. And that's what his ultimate goal is. So I'm part of a test program, which is the precursor to all of that. And the truth be told, Richard went up about a month ago, and I was picked in a lottery as one of the future astronauts because I'm on the list. There's about 600. And there were 50 people that were picked to go there and be there live. Remember, money gets you access, right? There were 50 people that were picked to be there live. And so I was there with Richard and the astronaut team and all the Virgin employees. And we had a party afterwards. And it was crazy fun, just crazy fun.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that picture. Matter of fact, I know you've been to Necker Island a couple times. You paid for that ticket. How long ago did you pay for that ticket?
It's been 7 years, but I've gotten way more than my money's worth. Way more.
Yeah. Yeah. If you don't mind, tell everybody what money does for you, as far as if you want to talk about how much that ticket cost. I know, but
yeah, it was $250,000, you know, and there's things I'm doing today that I couldn't even have dreamed. Like growing up in the environment that I grew up in the lower middle income family in the south suburbs of Chicago. Just to give you an idea, my high school was closed last year before the pandemic after being open for 70 years because of violence, shootings. That's the neighborhood. Now, it wasn't quite the way it is today back then, but it was bad back then. I mean, it wasn't uncommon for violence in the area that I grew up. And it was lower income. And my dad, you know, he would save for us to go on a 2-week driving vacation every year. Driving, we wouldn't get on an airplane. I didn't get on an airplane until I was able to buy my own ticket when I was older. So I think I was maybe 18 or 19 when I was on my first flight. So I couldn't really even see beyond that. You know, I'd never been out of the country, of course. But I also, when I got involved with more so network marketing really expanded my big dreams. Even some of the companies I didn't make money, I started seeing a piece of life that I did not get access to growing up as a kid. I didn't learn about it. I didn't see it. And I started to believe that there were things that were possible for me that I didn't think were possible before. And so today, and I'm always like, you know, I'm playing at a high level today, but I could play at a higher level. And I'm doing things today to grow to new levels. Partially because it's fun. Like the thought of, I'm a helicopter pilot today. I fly helicopters for fun. It's not a cheap habit. In fact, if you want to go get a hamburger over the mountains at the winery or in Death Valley, it costs you $1,000 for the day to go get a hamburger, you know, in a helicopter. But it's something that I really enjoy, and it was a challenge. It was the hardest thing that I ever learned to do in my life. The whole space flight thing, and you know, the kind of lifestyle I live today with travel. I mean, I've been all over the world, which I couldn't have done without money. You can't do it without money. So it's worth it. It's hard. It's hard to build a network marketing business. It's never going to be easy. I will tell you this, that once you get a growing organization, once you get a team that's locks in, that really starts to, you know, get some momentum, some growth going on, your checks start to grow and it becomes easier and easier. But, and also you get better at doing certain things, but you still have stress. You still get nervous in certain situations. Like, you know, the bigger your team gets, the more opportunities you have to speak in front of groups of people. And that can be challenging. I've still got anxiety when it comes to, even this morning, you know, getting on here I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's still wired into me. You know, once I'm on, I'm fine, but I still have the anxiety that comes up when I have to go speak in front of a group. I would rather not, but then once I start, I'm glad I'm doing it. So
well, anyway. I thank you, because I wanted people to hear some of the blessings of working hard, playing hard. $250,000, folks, for a seat on the spaceship to go out. Also, he's also has his own helicopter, and he's also a helicopter pilot. But now I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go back to the book for a little bit. On chapter 6, the last sentence at the bottom of chapter 6, it says, "The numbers don't lie." Chapter 6. I'm gonna read it. I quote: "In the business of recruiting, I'll need to recruit 20 or 30 people. It doesn't matter if if you're in real estate, and a financial planner, or insurance, or the network marketing business. Doesn't matter, folks. You must recruit 20 or 30 people to start with." He also said 1/3 of the recruits will also will do absolutely nothing. 1/3 will do a little bit, and 1/3 will make you a good income. And usually 1/3 of them will build a business of group of thousands. Go ahead.
One of them. One out of them. One.
Yeah, one of them, right. One of them.
Yeah, that's kind of how it is. And you know what? You can't blame it on network marketing. You can't blame it on people. You can't blame it on your comp plan. You can't blame it on your leadership. You can't blame it on your product, because it's every company. It's every company. It's the fitness gym that you go to. 1/3 of the people out of every 30, 1/3 of them will do nothing. They'll never even show up once. 1/3 of them will show up once in a while. 1/3 of them will show up a little more than once in a while. And only 1 out of 30 will actually build a daily habit and get in really tip-top shape. And in fact, gyms depend on that, because in a gym, if everybody that signed up for a membership showed up, they wouldn't have enough. There'd be lines out the door. And so they depend on that. But it doesn't matter if it's real estate. It doesn't matter if it's financial planning or network marketing. People are people, right? What did Paul used to say, Al? People are people are people.
People are people.
People are people.
That's right.
He was from Danville, Kentucky, and he had the Kentucky accent. He used to go, people are people are people. But it's true. It's like whenever you have something that is kind of like you're scratching your head going, really, did that? You're like, people are people.
That's right. Yeah. Paul was making $1 million a month back there 20 some years ago. $1 million a month as an IBO, $1 million a month. A real simple Kentucky boy. Yeah, that's funny. Hey, I'm going to move on to chapter 7. It says that the name of the chapter is How to Get Paid Big Money, Whether You Go to Work or Not. And I'm going to go over to page 37. Those that got the book out want to follow me. It's the second paragraph. It says 9-to-5 jobs is the worst vehicle in the marketplace today for achieving financial freedom. Everybody understands that. It gives you no significant leverage. Jobs aren't bad. They pay the bills, but they happen to be extremely a poor vehicle for the trip that you want to take. Try going from San Diego to New York on a moped. It's like trying to get to beach money lifestyle on a job that pays you a desk money. By making the transition from your traditional business or job to one of the proven non-linear income, by making a decision now to focus on opportunities that pay you over and over and over again, and I'm gonna throw this in there, over and over and over again, for working one time, you will be well on your way to your own beach money lifestyle.
Yeah, that's how it works. So I got this yardstick here. I don't know if it's going to work with this because it's like, I got to pull way back. I can only do this in the United States because they have meter sticks in Europe, right? This is a yardstick. How many inches is a yardstick, Al? 36 inches.
36 inches.
3 feet, right? And if you imagine that this is your life, so let's say 36 inches, if you say each inch is 2 years, that's 72 years right there. Some of you will live significantly longer than that. Hopefully we all will. But this is a full lifespan right here. We start working at about 10 inches on the yardstick. So 10 inches on the yardstick is right where I have my finger right here. So these 10 inches right here, this is where we start working on the yardstick. And then we start working, and we're working a traditional job, linear income, work once, get paid once. And by doing that, maybe we set up a 401k, maybe we have a little bank account where we save some money. And typically what happens at the age of about 40, which is right here on the yardstick, that's 40 on the yardstick, something happens. We have a medical emergency in our family and somebody doesn't have insurance. Maybe it's a 2-income family and one of the members of the family loses their job and you can't pay your bills. So you dip into your $3 or $4 or $5 or $10,000 savings and you start spending that. And before you know it, it's gone. And now you're in your 40s, mid 40s, or even 50s. No, so what this is if you can imagine, if you get involved in a business that has leverage, in 4 years, this is 4 years on the yardstick, 4 years, if you really focus, learn your lessons and focus during those 4 years, you can accomplish what most people can't accomplish in their lifetime because of leverage. Because if you can put in 5 hours a week and you find one other person that can put in 5 hours a week, you're now benefiting from 10 hours worth of work a week, but you're only putting in 5. If you can find 4 other people that can put in 5 hours a week and you're putting in 5 hours a week, now you're benefiting from 25 hours worth of work a week, but you're only putting in 5. So you can compress time frames so that you have a residual income that will allow you to live the rest of your life. Now, there's people in their 60 years old. This is 60 years old on the yardstick. That's all you got left right there, right? So take a year or 2 years and be really diligent about your business and follow the guidance of your upline and focus on doing the productive things every day. Develop a habit. Make your decisions based on what you're committed to, not how you're feeling, so that you can live a life that will allow you to do the things that are your dreams, that, you know, things that you've dreamt about, but you've given up on, you know, things that you really want your life to stand for something and you've given up on that because you don't believe it's possible anymore. And it is possible. You've got the right vehicle, network marketing, and the company that you're with. You got a great vehicle and a vehicle that can take you to your dreams if you focus on it.
Wow, thank you. Last thing I'm going to bring up is chapter 20 about freedom. Yeah, and I'm going to go through the 6 things that you put in here. No experience necessary to be successful in network marketing or special education. Doesn't care about your degree or background. Number 2, it's a perfect business. Network marketing provides a simple, low-cost, turnkey opportunity to create beach money. Number 3, little or no risk, folks. Network marketing allows you to be in business without the typical risk associated with startup in your own business. Number 4, ongoing residual income. By focusing on opportunities that pay you over and over again for the work you do just one time, you could grow a substantial, I'll say it again, substantial beach money income in 2 to 5 years. Number 5, your greatest gift. Typically, your greatest fears and your biggest obstacles represent the hidden opportunities that will lead you to your own beach money lifestyle. Embrace them. What? Embrace them. Sometimes your gift won't show up for a few years. Wow. And number 6, time off. I love this one. You can work for a few years, stop working, and continue getting paid long after you have stopped working. You know what? That is so true. Comment, sir.
Yeah, man. Think about all the tens of thousands of people that want to open up a Subway franchise. Think about all the millions of people that want to open up a franchise. You know, Subway, it cost you $250,000 just to buy the license, minimum of $250,000. It might be more now, actually. And then you got to prove that you have an income of $2 million a year already. You have to have liquid assets on top of the money that you pay them. And then you have to pay a percentage of your money to the franchise organization. But here's the biggest thing of all. When you lock your door, your income stops. You know, and you gotta hire and manage employees, and the employees are teenagers. So, and people will stand in line to do that. And it's hard. It takes time. It takes commitment. And they will tell you up front that you cannot expect to be profitable for 3 to 5 years. So you invest all this money and with no return for 3 to 5 years. How much does it cost to get involved in your company? You don't have to answer that question. I know it's under $1,000. Somebody gets involved for $1,000. What's the potential? There's no leverage in a Subway. You have to hire people. There's no leverage, right? And the only people that will visit your franchise are the people that are within a driving radius. You're limited by geographics, but yet people will spend hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars getting involved in a franchise opportunity. And again, I'm not saying it's bad. Jobs aren't bad. Franchise isn't bad. Small business isn't bad. It's just there's benefits of network marketing, and both of them are hard. Everything's hard. You know, everything's tough to learn. Everything's new. Everything takes persistence. Everything takes focus. Everything takes drive. Everything takes a little bit of money. Everything takes work. But it's like, where are you going to put your time? And if you can get involved in something that has as much potential or even more potential, why not focus on network marketing? Because you decide one day, 5 years in, or you have something come up that says, I have to take a year off or 2 years off. You're going to be very grateful for that residual check. Believe me, very grateful when that check comes in every month. I've heard hundreds of stories of people that have built a network marketing business and they have a residual check and something happens in their family and they get that residual check. Even if it's $500 a month, $600 a month, $1,000 a month, that residual check is extremely meaningful to somebody who's in a situation where they need it.
Yeah, we had one of our leaders on the call, Miss Driscoll. She father-in-law got sick and relatives, and she just took off 6 months to be at the hospital with them. And I hear story after story after story, and people don't realize you're building an asset. And Robert Kiyosaki said, an asset feeds you, a liability will eat you. Your job, you can't take time off. My sister's, her husband, his mom, got to go to Chicago. He can't go because the job won't let him go. I was going to buy him a ticket, but he can't go. It's sad to how people don't realize the power and the benefits of the power of residual income. And folks, you guys are building an asset. I mean, Mr. George got a helicopter, been up the helicopter. We took the doors off, flew around. We take time to have cigars. He paid $250,000 for a flight. I go up to his house up in the hills here in Mount Charleston. Beautiful place, beautiful place. He has one on the Strip and one in Jerome. Here again, where can we live this lifestyle and do the thing we want to do? Because we build it over time, and our wish and prayers for every one of you IBOs is to do the same thing. Don't give up. Here's what this is what he's saying. The benefits of residuals. Yes, in the beginning, it's small, but put a comma behind that 600. Put another comma. Oh, anyway, let me shut up. But you guys get the idea. It's there for you. And I'm going to say this. I'm going to give it back to George to give us a few words to close it. All the money in the world is at your fingertips. All you and I have to do is go earn it. Earn it. And what he said, he just signs up 1 to 3 a month. Everybody could do 1 to 3 a month. The question, would you do it? Sir, give us a few words in closing, my dear friend.
I would just say that I recommend that every year, and I would do this today, if you haven't already done it, I recommend writing down 3 things that you don't think are possible for you this year, that you want in your life. 3 things that you don't think are possible for yourself, and write them down and put them somewhere where you see them every day. And if you will allow the forces of the universe, the forces of God to move you in the direction of those things, you will you will manifest those things in your life. If you'll write those down and put them somewhere, that your brain is designed to solve problems while you're sleeping. It's designed to do that. That's why we have dreams that we remember. That's our brain trying to solve the problems of our life in a multi-dimensional way, a way that we cannot logically figure out. It's God stepping in to unravel the things that you're trying to, it's God stepping in to help you crack the code because you can't do it on your own. And so when you write it down and you put it somewhere, your brain goes to work. And I recommend that. That's how I would close to, that's the one thing I could share with you that will change your life more than anything else. If your dreams are all over the map, if you're keeping them in your thoughts, that's great, but that's not gonna, you gotta have them written down where you can see them every day and let your brain like burn, let that paper burn an image into your brain that you cannot let go of. The other thing I'll say is that it's okay to obsess a little bit. It's okay to obsess a little bit. All the great leaders in network marketing and in traditional business that have achieved amazing things in their lives have obsessed on those things. And if you find yourself obsessing, that's a good thing. Nothing wrong with that. And then make sure and share your dreams with everyone. Let people know what you're up to. Let people know what you're excited about. And that's doing the business. There's no more fun way to live than that. So anyway, I appreciate it. I'm grateful for you guys. I appreciate, Al, the invitation always. And thanks for promoting my book and for sharing all this stuff with everybody.
If you guys haven't got his book, go get his book, Beach Money and Better Than Beach Money. And the last thing I'm going to say today is please answer your phone. Do not be Cousin Eddie. Hey. Look what Cousin Eddie missed out on. And I guarantee you guys, don't be Cousin Eddie. Answer your phone. I've had my same number for 150 years. I'm like Yoda. I don't change it because you never know who's going to call. Answer your phone.